Hello there. This will have the Tories worried. Nigel Farage has been meeting with disgruntled Red Wall Tory MPs. Now, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and then like and comment below. So the Reform UK Honorary President, Nigel Farage, has been meeting secretly with disaffected Red Wall Tory MPs. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we later found out that he'd also been talking to Blue Wall Tory MPs as well. Because they all know that however safe their seats looked after the last election, all bets are now off. Now, the former UKIP leader who strong-armed the Tories into the referendum and won it has been dropping broad hints for quite a while now that he could be on the comeback trail after stories emerged that the Rishi Sunak government was going soft on Brexit. And part of that is testing the water for what support is out there. Because he stated in the past that he cannot do this on his own and needs help from big hitters to pull it off. Now, he really put the cat amongst the pigeons when he poached Douglas Carswell and Mark Reckless out of the Tories in the lead up to the 2016 referendum. But what then sealed it was them both resigning, then winning the subsequent by-elections, standing for UKIP. Is Farage attempting the same sort of approach again? And talking to The Sun, Farage said that there were a lot of very disillusioned Conservatives out there. Now, one of the big drivers to this disillusionment is the state of the UK's borders. And those Red Wall voters who opted for blue at the last general election will know that the Labour Party are likely to be even more lax than the Tories in controlling our borders. So they fear that Reform UK will steal enough of their share of the vote to let Labour slip in, and that seems to be the thinking. I would say that the Red Wall seats the Tories gained are already lost, and the only hope they have is to go for reform. And in some of the South and South East constituencies, it's not Labour that is the threat, it's the Lib Dems. Unless a truly Conservative with a small c party stands and offers a true blue alternative. Now, the Tories will claim that if you don't vote for them, you'll get a Labour government. And one former Tory minister told The Sun that if Reform UK get even 10% of the vote, that could be catastrophic for me. My answer would be it won't matter, because we are already governed by a socialist party, a truly red Tory party, with no vision except to grind this country down. Now, the Tony Blair Institute, yes, there really is one, has come out with a plan to resolve the rubbing points we have with Brexit. You know, stuff like the Northern Ireland Protocol. And the plan is to align ourselves with EU single market rules. Sound familiar? It should do, because that's the Remainer answer to everything. If you ask them what 2 + 2 was, they'd probably say the EU single market. And the answer to the supplementary question would be the EU customs union. Anyway, what it's really all about is maintaining UK alignment with EU rules until a Remainer government can sneak us back into the EU. And this plan to maintain single market alignment is the one the Tony Blair Institute wants Keir Starmer's Labour to follow if they get into power. Yes, what Anton Spisak, who wrote the article Fixing Brexit, a New Agenda for a New Partnership with the European Union, wants to see is a new regulatory framework that would see ministers use UK domestic law to amend UK law as EU law was changed, all on some sort of voluntary basis. Sounds like he just wants the EU to set the rules and we immediately implement them. But this would of course be a mere stepping stone to full single market membership, with rule by facts from Brussels and under full ECJ jurisdiction. And Spizak gives that game away when he says that we must improve the Brexit deal. However, taking the UK back into the European single market just yet, without clear majority support for this, would divide the British public further. Those two words, just yet, give the whole game away. And his whole piece smacked to me of the old Europhile thinking that there is only one trading market in the world and we must pay any political and international price to be in it. Funny, isn't it? In the lead-up to the referendum from about 2013 onwards, I campaigned tirelessly for Brexit and was often asked why we kept on banging on about Brexit, especially where Remainers were concerned. But now, the Remainers are the ones who keep carping on about Brexit. Now let's talk about the brain drain. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you, Jeff, and good evening. Some of our most talented workers and entrepreneurs could be about to leave Britain due to high tax and the fact that the country is turning into a shithole. And can you blame them for wanting to leave with zero incentive to stay? I am not going into the details of demographics of those leaving because I don't do detail, and Jeff is the master of detail. Instead of detail, I do broad, incoherent strokes of bigoted opinion, and occasionally I make a valid point that is backed up by something that someone else said somewhere, just like everyone else does. So, if you were or are a highly skilled worker, would you want to, or rather should I say, do you want to stay in a country that will penalise you for success and hand over your dosh to people crossing the channel in Royal Lifeboat taxis so they can go and live in 5-star hotels? Perhaps not. Or would you wish to lay down roots and raise a family in a country where you can't put your own children into a local school because it is filled with people from elsewhere? Probably not. Okay, would you want to bring your children up in a country where crime goes unsolved and lawbreakers are allowed to go about their daily business of lawbreaking, and our children are the prey of 6-foot grey-haired bearded children? Well, okay. All right, of course, what I have described most certainly is not Britain, is it? No, that would be ridiculous, especially under a right-wing Tory government governing the nation. Oh, wait. Well, in that case, I suppose we must raise our hands in the air and admit we, the people of Britain, have handed over the country to be governed by those that have a very different view of Britain. Or could the unthinkable be true? Maybe we are all wrong, and it's all rosy out there in lovely Kent, and the south coast of England should embrace those that will profit from our nation's generosity. Maybe we are being lied to once again by the press, and there is in fact an economic boom taking place on the south coast and neighbouring counties, with a multicultural Shangri-La popping up in every town and village, with their own booming economies filled with legitimate businesses, improving the economy of the nation, and thus creating the bedrock of a society upon which skilled workers can build their lives, and thus choose to remain in Britain. Just think, all those silly people, even considering leaving Britain, they need their heads read. I feel better now I have reprogrammed myself into believing the government have faults, but they actually have our well-being and prosperity at the forefront of their minds. And please remind me that I must make a video on how stupid it is to call a tomato a fruit. Anyway, back over to you, Jeff.
And finally, when subscribing, please don't forget to press that little bell and also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. And thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the show.